Well, thank you for joining us. It's good to be able to share with you once again. And it's my pleasure to be here today on the couch with Ben and Beth. For those of you who don't know, Ben and Beth are gospel partners of some of our churches at St James, and they're local for the time being. They're on home assignment. Generally, they find themselves serving in Asia, and the part of the value of gospel partnerships is being able to do ministry beyond our borders, as it were, as we think about our local and our global responsibility for the gospel. So, Ben and Beth, welcome. Nice to have you here, particularly with us on the couch. And you have a family. Can you just tell us where things are up to for your family life, given all that's happened, that's brought you to this point here?
Yeah, well, we arrived back in March. So probably should mention that we arrived back from a different place to where we were last time we were here. So 2 years ago, we relocated to Thailand, and so that's where we've arrived from back in March. And we snuck in just before lockdown happened. So definitely been an unexpected and unanticipated time. But we are very thankful to be here and to be with our families in particular. So we're staying on the northern beaches with Ben's family, and our kids have been able to be part of the school community at Covenant Christian School. So they're two huge provisions, and very grateful.
I mean, lockdown's the word that's become common knowledge to us over these past few months, and you've probably seen that to a greater degree than many of us may have seen, given the areas you're in touch with your ministry. What's it look like, firstly, for family while you're here, and then maybe share with us what it looked like for ministry?
Yeah, sure. God was so kind to us in timing. When we arrived home, our kids had one day at Covenant with their teachers before the rules changed and everyone went into lockdown. So it just took all of the nerves away for them. They were able to meet their teachers and for Ada to reacquaint with friends before they went into online teaching and homeschooling, which was not completely new for us in lockdown. We've homeschooled Ada before, but it was a different animal, so to speak, with Sammy as well. Also living with my parents, we've just been mindful of their health during this season, so trying to be careful and sensitive to their needs. It's, we're working during this time also. So I'm sure a lot of us have experienced the awkwardness of being in work meetings, online work meetings, and having a child wander in or asking some inappropriate question or, a schooling related question, but that's just become part of the lockdown routine for us. Yeah, how's it been for the people that we serve? Yeah.
Yeah. I think personally, you asked about ministry. I think for us, having relocated, our role is such that it is normally distance leadership and virtual leadership. So in that sense, being here, it doesn't change a lot. Our time zone changes a little bit, and that can make coordinating things harder. But essentially, we still are serving and supporting and leading in the same way that we normally do. And we're thankful to be able to do that here. For those that we serve, lockdown has meant various things. For some, it has been a really difficult time. They were some of the earliest affected. So, this pandemic popped up on our radar way back in January, and we've been really watching it ever since and responding to it from those early days. So some of the people we serve are entering into their 5th month of some form of lockdown or isolation. And as you can imagine, we can all imagine, that's very wearying. And we would love you to be upholding them in prayer as they persevere under uncertain circumstances. We receive a lot of government information and communication about, time frames and stages, and a lot of places in Asia it's a lot fuzzier than that. It's a lot harder to determine where this is going to end and how it's going to end, and whether even some of the restrictions that have come upon them are even going to be lifted. So really challenging, but yeah.
There must be circumstances which we would find hard to identify with, where you've had to, provide strength and comfort and perspective, no doubt. Can you share with us some of the ways which you have seen God at work in your ministry and in the lives of those you're serving?
Yeah, God has certainly been at work in these times. In fact, I think some of the most fruitful ministry probably over the last decade has taken place in the last 6 months. I think it would be fair to say that in terms of the amount of people that we've been able to have contact with through different types of ministry. It's a time like this is deeply unsettling for the world, and I think it has exposed some of the idols and the things that we have relied upon that have shown to be a false sense of security. And so people all over the world, not unlike here, are searching for purpose and are searching for meaning, and they're reaching out through the means that they have. So online, through different smartphone apps, they're wanting to know what is happening. And we're seeing a lot of people asking questions about life and God and faith. And we've got a lot of people that are in a good position to respond. And even, at the level of, we had a young gentleman in a province completely, in a very hard to reach area, despairing of his life, and he was able to get in contact with one of our workers, and I think it's fair to say that that connection, they were able to share some scriptures and some comfort and some hope. I think it's fair to say that connection really changed the direction of that young man's life. So, there's small kind of zoomed in stories like that, God's care for the individual, and then there's this greater sense that God is drawing men and women across the globe to himself during this time.
Beth, you spoke a bit about fuzzy outcomes and not knowing details. There's a level of that with just our own restrictions here. They're quite different from the circumstances I'm sure that you've been relating. But talking locally, we've got international borders closed at the moment, and that seems a thing that could be with us for a while. How much do you know about, and how much can you plan and can't you plan? What's that look like?
Yeah, we things are a little bit uncertain, very little bit. For us, we're not sure when we'll be able to travel home, but we are thankful that we're not necessarily under pressure to leave. We can do our role from here, and we're provided for in terms of a home and the kids' schooling situation. Even though there is a level of uncertainty, and we are a little bit reliant on international borders opening both here and in Thailand, we're thankful that we can just wait it out and see what happens. Trusting God. He's taught us a lot about living with uncertainty and a lack of ability to plan too far down the track. So it's okay for us, I think.
We're thankful to have the opportunity just to hear firsthand from the two of you. It's great to be able to hear something of where things are up to. We're very thankful for your partnership, and we want to assure you of our ongoing prayers and support in the ways that people provide that as well. But Ben and Beth, thank you for sharing with us on this morning.
Thanks.
Thank you very much, David, and thank you to everyone at St James. We have been incredibly blessed by your love and encouragement and support. From St James and BHAC and Warrawee, the supporting churches. So just incredibly thankful.